We have a colleague named Jared. He works a different show here in the building. Yes, 2 days ago, he told me, I'm starting a podcast about sports. If you ever want to be on it, just let me know. And I said,
2 days ago.
2 days ago, he said this. This was, first day, a couple of days ago. He says, just to FYI, I've done one episode. I'm starting a podcast. I'm just going to talk sports. I know you're a sports fan. You want to be on it? You let me know.
Yes. So with the background information that you got, Kelly, from our colleague, did you listen to his first podcast and say, yes, this is something
No.
I want to be a part of?
No. And in fact, I thought I'm never going to go to him and say, I want to be on your podcast. That's just not something I'm going to do. You know, I'll share my thoughts about sports privately with you all. And, I'll do some sports talk here a little. But I'm never going to go and say, oh, I've got a burning interest to talk about the Lakers. I'm just not going to do it. But yesterday, Biggie and I post-show here, just 10 minutes post, he texts me and he said, getting ready to do a podcast talking about...
right here, right now? Today?
He says, I'm going to do a podcast on the Broncos. He knows I'm a Broncos fan. And he says, Jeff Bezos may be buying the Broncos. He's talking about buying the Broncos. He and Jay-Z, it's a possibility.
Right.
They will buy the Broncos. Do you want to comment on this? He says to me, text me. And I say, yeah, I can comment on that.
Well, I seem to recall we talked about it yesterday, and you were like, huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of your hot take about
the Denver Broncos.
That was basically it. The Oh, yeah. I said, huh.
Bezos, the Amazon guy, he's got a lot of money.
He's got a lot of money.
He's rich.
I had a great stat about him that he could buy the Broncos and every other team and still have $90 million left over. Okay. So that was my stat that I had. And I said, the average family, him buying the Broncos worth $4 billion is the equivalent to the average family buying a Peloton bicycle for their house. I mean, that's the financial hurt you'd be in, which is, what's a Peloton, $1,200, something like that? So that's basically to buy an NFL franchise valued at $4 billion. So I get the text, you want to come on to the podcast? And I write back, when? Because I'm ready to, I was going to take 48 hours to prepare. And he writes back, he's like, right now.
What?
Yeah. So I said, oh, okay, give me 5 minutes and I'll be down there. Now, inside this show, when this program ends every day, I have to correspond with Biggie. I give him instructions on, okay, here's what we need to edit. Here's what we need this, that, it's a 30-minute thing right after this show ends. So I go down and do the podcast, okay? Unbeknownst to Biggie, I looked around and thought, I can't let anybody see me going into this studio to do this podcast. Of course,
you're not supposed to be in
I'm not supposed to be in that studio. That's not our studio. But I go in, I look around, like, all right, let's do this. I close the drapes, all that stuff. I make sure nobody can see me. So this is Jared's podcast, and we sit down, and he opens, and I'm going to lay the Peloton factoid.
No.
And
boy, he sure is rich.
Yeah.
Okay, boy, I'm going to lay the Peloton thing on him and the fact that he can buy every single NFL franchise and still have $90 billion left over. So Jared opens the podcast. He said, we've got Chris Kelly in with us today. He's a big Broncos fan. And he turns to me and he goes, what do you think of this news that Jeff Bezos could buy the Broncos? And, oh, by the way, did you know? And he lays both factoids on me. Peloton, and he does them. He does the factoid. He took
your material.
Things. He took the Peloton and he took the $100 billion left over after buying every team in the NFL.
What is going through your head at this moment?
I have nothing.
Those were my things.
I have nothing to say.
Did you think about repeating the factoids back to him like some kind of weird...
I did. I repeated.
Some sort of pickleball match?
Yeah, I did. I repeated the factoids back to him, and he said...
I got to listen to this podcast. Two know-nothings.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just sat there and talked about the same thing, Peloton and Bezos, and neither of us knew anything about anything on the sports podcast. And it went on for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh.
All right, so there's that, okay? It's done. The podcast is done. I go back into the office with Chris Demm. Well, now, Biggie, I've been making him wait. Usually we have the little meeting. I send him an email. So he dials in, and says, hey, man, where's my instructions? I'm sitting here waiting, twiddling my thumbs. What's going on? I say to Biggie, oh, sorry, I got caught up chatting with Jared. I didn't say it was about a podcast. Okay.
Again,
Right.
not being honest.
No, just lying.
Well, now I was chatting. No, I didn't say it was for a podcast, and we're chatting. Well, this morning, 5 minutes ago, I walk into the studio. Biggie looks at me and goes, you cheesy bitch. You cheesy bitch. And I said, what? So then I'm like, what did I do?
What happened?
What did I do? And he goes, you cheesy bitch. You didn't even tell me you were down there on a podcast, making me sit here and wait while you are down there on a podcast.
Flapping your gums about Jeff Bezos and money.
About nothing.
Well, that's just it. My point is, you know all of it. You know us, and you'll still give us lip service. Oh, yeah, I was chatting with Jared.
But in fact, I was chatting with Jared. Now, we turned on microphones and hit record, and now it's out there on Apple Podcast and Apple Play. Available for download if you'd
Hear
like.
the awkward factoid moment.
That Peloton factoid, all about the...
What's the opposite of a sports insider? An outsider? My God. Two know-nothings.
I like the Broncos.
We have a fan here. Great. You like the Broncos?
I
do in fact like the Broncos.
I'm a fan of the Broncos.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I was on that. And then Biggie kept calling me a bitch, and Chris Demm said that should be the name of the sportscast, the podcast, the Sports Bitches.
Sports bitches.
I don't know if there's a name yet, but it might
be, yeah.
It might be the Sports
Maybe
Bitches.
that's how you carve your niche.
Well, frankly, both of you are known for your lip service to everybody. You lie right to someone, say, oh, yeah, great. And he just replies all to every email with, absolutely.
I know. Exactly.
Great job.
Another example.
Both of you are as fake as they come.
The Sports Bitches. We should start doing it regularly, the Sports Bitches.
Yeah.
Now, it's his podcast, not mine. I was a special guest, but I really fit in perfectly. It was like hand in glove, the way the two of us. And then it was over. He hit stop. I was like, great job. He's a great job yourself. We high-five.
Yeah,
You know.
stroking each other's egos. And then both of you leave separately, and you're like, idiot.
You're really good at this.
I'm so much better. It should be my podcast.
You walked out. Ugh. Each one of you said the same thing.
I know.
That guy's dragging me down.
Dragging me down.
I don't know why we did that. But in the moment, oh, man, you're so good.
Oh, you're so good at what you do.
So good at
This is audio gold. We're going to be rich.
Yeah. It's only episode 2 of the podcast, so I'm the first real special guest to be on there. It just happened to be about the Broncos, and that's my team. That's my team. So then he's like, what do you think about Jay-Z? And I said, I don't really know who Jay-Z is.
I'm unfamiliar.
I'm unfamiliar with his product. I know he's married to Beyonce. I don't know much about his money. I said, maybe he's got a Peloton. This is the kind of thing I'm adding. These
That's
things.
good stuff.
And then last night, see, this is more of my lips are no spine. No, everything Norm Macdonald is. And Biggie said, I'm going to roast you in honor of Norm Macdonald for doing this Cheesy Bitch podcast. That's another, the Cheesy Bitches on sports.
I bet that's actually taken.
Might be.
I bet. Yeah, might not be able to use that. Last night I broke up with my tennis buddies.
Official.
I know, it's really bad. There was, 5 of us used to play tennis every Thursday night. Indoor tennis starting in October. Well, of course, that date's coming. And we've been doing it for probably 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are my friends. And we
Maybe
go out
longer.
Yeah. And we used to go out afterwards and have a beer and a burger.
Oh, yeah.
Really great. But since I've fallen in love with pickleball, I told the wife.
You had to end it.
I think I'm just going to keep on playing this and not play tennis anymore. Plus, it costs money, So yesterday, my friend Trent, who's in the same position, says, I think I'm going to send a text to everybody saying I'm no longer going to be in the group.
You broke up via text?
Man, that's so millennial.
I think we should see other sports.
Man, you really are the sports bitches.
There's somebody else.
I'm even worse than that. Trent sends out this great long text like, guys, it has been an honor to play tennis with you every Thursday night for the past 10 plus years. But I found a new love, pickleball. So therefore, I wanted to give you plenty of notice that I will no longer be in the group. I'm going to exit that. I wish you nothing but success, and I want us to see each other still. I want us to still be friends. He said all that. I text, right after he sends that, I text, me too.
Oh, God. That may be the single worst Me Too story ever.
Yeah.
I know.
What Trent said.
Except I don't want to see you.
In fact, I didn't even save your numbers.
And all the other guys wrote back, at least Trent had the courage to tell us what was going on. But you're right. It was a very millennial thing. I'm really down about it.
Well, and frankly, Biggie and I just had a brief moment before the program. He was very busy this morning with all the, the Norm Macdonald, kind of an emergency obituary story.
Yes.
So Biggie was extra busy. But I did have a chance just to briefly tell him that there was another microaggression that took place in the office after the program yesterday.
Yeah.
I opened the office this morning. I arrive before Chris Kelly does.
Ugh.
And they're staring me in the face again.
I know.
For the second time in a month. Kelly's giant dungarees
I know.
on my desk.
My pants.
Your pants.
When I realize I leave those pants behind, it's the worst, most sinking feeling. It was yesterday afternoon. I always keep them in the car with me.
As a normal person does.
When I looked in the passenger seat when I got home and saw no pants, I thought, oh, no. Those are going to be curled up on Chris Demm's desk.
And they were.
First, I thought, I'll drive back and get them. And then I thought, no. And then I thought, I'll get up extra early and beat him in. And then I thought, no. Once the alarm goes, I was like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just have to face that wrath.
And so I'm used to that. I've seen the pants a lot sitting on my desk. For whatever reason, you change on my side of the office.
I know.
It's the aggression.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It is a microaggression. And
It's his one thing.
it is. As if to make it worse, yesterday you ate lunch in the office, a catered lunch.
Yes.
And you left one of your meat skewer sticks on the ground at the foot of my chair.
It's a fact. I didn't realize that had happened either.
Your little kebab stick.
Oh, it must have gotten tangled in my pants.
As it happens.
I'll save you for later.
Hello, tomato and cheese.
Oh,
Those are good.
Yeah, they can be really good.
Yeah.
they're drizzled with a balsamic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
delicious.
delightful.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Hot or cold.
I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed here today.
You know, this aggression will not stand, man.
Now the sneaky podcast, the bad breakup, and the leaving behind of Denim. That's got to stop. You're exactly right.
I told Biggie, I don't like to throw this word around because it can be hurtful and it's aggressive almost in its by its nature. But you're slovenly.
Well, yeah, I know, and I really feel terrible about that. I do.
And as neat as you claim to be at your house, you don't want anything out of place at your house.
No.
Your workplace and your car
You're right.
are disaster.
You're right. I know. My wife saw me to get rid of the car. She's wanting me to get rid of the 98 ACK, and I'm starting to break a little bit and consider that. I know.
But you dug in your heels for decades.
I know. I'm in a bad place right now.
Are you?
Don't make this about you. You're going to lie to us again today about something.
I've been in a bad place for a while. I don't know what it is, but I'm in a bad place right now. Something's going on.
You'll do this whole thing where you just apologize to both of us. 24 hours from now, you'll lie to me about something and your jeans will be on his chest. We've seen this before.
You're right. What can I say other than you're right?
So those are your backup pants right now?
Yeah, I'm in my backup pants without a belt.
I noticed you're hitching them up even higher.
Yeah, these are my backups. These are my two. These are the second string. I don't feel right. I do not feel right here today. So many things going on. I'm having trouble with all of it. Let me ask you this now, and I think it leads perfectly into the first piece of Norm Macdonald stand-up comedy we have today. Brilliant on Saturday Night Live. Brilliant on stage in stand-up. Now, what about movies? He's been in a few. There's not really one that is like a standout, is there, that he was great in? He's more of a stand-up guy.
I think Adam Sandler put him in a lot of his movies.
He did put him in a lot. He did his own movie called Dirty Work.
Is that any good?
I loved it as a teen.
Okay.
But now I probably wouldn't.
I don't think it holds up. That's with Artie Lang?
Yeah, with Artie Lang. And, it was kind of like he just pop up here and there and stuff.
Yeah. And he was so good on Saturday Night Live. He was so good in stand-up. A lot of these comedians, that Letterman, Conan O'Brien, Adam Sandler, they're just devastating.
Yeah, it's such a cliche, but he was like a comedian's comedian.
Yes.
Every working professional comic loved the guy.
They loved having him on their shows, that when they hosted shows, and he killed on those late night shows. Always. Got a couple of examples of that coming up. But we've got some stand-up about taking pictures. And it comes right here as Apple introduced the iPhone 13, which was the news item yesterday. And they say the camera's better. Chris Demm is right. He says the only thing Apple can do is make it faster and make the camera better. Other than that, we got it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's always what I think of now because there's nothing else really to do. So it's just like more clear pictures.
Well, I mean, there are, we've seen this in the last couple of weeks. Some phones fold. I don't know if Apple's going to go the
I saw
folding route.
that. I see the commercial for that. Is that something we need? Because once you fold
It
it,
might be easier to transport. I don't
is
know.
it? I mean, you fold it and have it's thicker, but it's smaller.
Well, Samsung, they tried that a couple years ago and it failed miserably.
Yeah.
Because people that bought them were having,
Well, they
first day
broke, right?
launch
yeah,
issues.
the screen crack and everything.
Now they seem to have pretty much mastered that, though.
Yeah, I'm not
Samsung
hearing
has.
stories about them breaking.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we're clamoring for it.
I'm not.
No. I mean, we've gotten used to this,
Yeah.
the thing that we have in our pocket or laying beside us all the time. The iPhone 13 has 4 different designs, prices anywhere from $700 to $1,100. They do have an option for a full terabyte of storage. That's 1,000 gig, which we don't know what.
I don't know what that means.
A
Is that a lot?
That's a lot.
A lot.
That's a lot. Okay. I'm going to go on a podcast about it later. I'm going to talk about it. I got a tech podcast with Jared.
You're about
talking
Apple and the terabytes?
We're going to talk tech. It's bitches on tech. The first thing he'll say is, that's 1,000 gig.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're also promising a better camera, ultra-wide lens, cinematic-like video feature, and technology for better nighttime photos. You're a big photographer. With that, nighttime photos can be better, right? That's a
Yeah. I mean, I like, I don't like using a flash
Yes.
when I take pictures.
Yes.
Natural light is always better, and low light pictures can be really cool.
They also unveiled updated iPads, iPad minis, and the watch will be thinner, more rounded, and have a better, brighter display, they say. So
More rounded because it's very square. That kind of
is.
sets it apart.
I agree. I kind of like the look of it. When you see it, you know one.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
And so many people have them now. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, there it is. I think they lead in the smart watch field. They certainly have. I see more of those than anything
Oh,
else.
absolutely.
They've
Yeah.
taken
Does
that
Samsung
over.
make a watch?
They do, but you just don't ever see it.
I really don't.
Samsung is almost even on the phones, but with the watch, it's Apple.
My understanding, and we're an Apple family and have been forever, since the days of the iPod. But my understanding is the Samsung camera is way better.
I think
Way
I've
better.
heard the same. We are too. We're also an Apple family, as you know. My wife's very Apple. In fact,
Did she live stream the event yesterday?
Yeah, she was all over it.
The Apple event.
Yeah, she was all over that. But I sometimes will say, I hear the Samsung camera is better. And she's like, we're an Apple family. Just shut up. We don't stop talking about that. We're not going to, come on.
So when you get yelled at the home, you just leave your pants at random places.
I've got a,
Leave Biggie twisting in the wind.
that's correct. I have a couples therapy podcast later with Jared.
Two bitches on
with him?
therapy.
Yeah, it's called Bitches on
Bitches in Therapy?
Bitches in Therapy. Jared and I are doing it.
Again, that might be taken.
We're doing Bitches on Sports and Bitches on Tech and Bitches in Therapy. This is Norm Macdonald talking about taking pictures many years ago versus today.
But I can't believe it's been a quarter century since I made my television debut. It was all different back then. It was back then. I remember if you wanted to take a picture, you would use a camera, not a telephone. As a matter of fact, if you used a telephone, people would look at you odd. Give it like. Just stay still like that. What about in the old days when they took pictures of you way back, where they pulled that thing and it exploded and stuff? I got a picture of my great-grandfather. The thing took 6 hours to take your picture, and it was a picture of my great-grandfather, one. Every guy had one picture back then. I gotta get back, feed them hogs. Who's gonna feed the hogs? Somebody gotta feed them hogs. Now, in the future, of course, it'll be different. 50 years from now, people will be going like, hey, you want to see 100,000 pictures of my great-grandfather?